I already had a video prepared on this topic, but it was like almost 30 minutes long. And my people are ADD, ADHD, whatever the fuck. So y'all attention spans ain't long enough for that video. But I wanted to touch on the topic of what happened with the girl in Chicago that was found dead in a freezer. I've seen about 20 different videos today on everybody's speculations on what the fuck happened in that hotel room, whether she was on the bed, whether she was in the corner sucking dick, whether she was in the bathroom getting beat down, whatever the fuck. But what it boils down to is talking to your fucking children. Our kids don't know what the fucking definition of a friend is. A friend is not just somebody you hang out with. A friend is somebody who's got your back, somebody who you have theirs. It's a ride or die situation, if you know. But these people that this girl was hanging out with were not her fucking friends. Had they been her friend, they would not be covering up all the details of what exactly happened to her. They would not have just called her mother and said, hey, your child's missing, and been done with that, knowing that they knew what happened. That's not what friends do. So what it boils down to is us talking to our children and them knowing what the definition of a friend is and knowing who their friends are. Everyone is not your fucking friend. Our children are naive. They are looking for friends in all the wrong places. Talk to your kids so that they know what a fucking friend is. These people were not her friends. She should not have been hanging out with these kids, but she was, and look where it got her. This situation plays out in many different scenarios daily. I had a Facebook associate hit me not too long ago because her son was hanging out with some people and they were involved in an armed robbery. He was implicated. The friends are getting probation because they are considered minors. He is getting offered 10 years because since the incident happened, he is no longer a minor and they're trying to charge him as an adult. This is our kids hanging out with the wrong people, being in the wrong place, wrong time, and with the wrong people. The same happens with grown-ups, kids, all of us. You hang out with these people that you think are your friends, and when it comes down to a ride or die situation, you're the one that ends up dead. When it comes down to a situation where you're looking at doing time, people get to dropping names and shit, and you're doing the time by yourself, and these so-called ride or die friends leave you fucking hanging. They're free, and you're in there. They won't visit, they won't write, they won't put no money on your books, nothing. And these are the people that you were calling friends. So we need to talk to our children so that they know who their friends are and stop hanging out with all of these people. I talked to my son, my 15-year-old, a couple of years back because he was hanging out with some people that I deemed were shady characters. I told him what I noticed in these people that made me feel what I felt about them, and I asked that he get himself involved in some extracurricular activities so he would be hanging around with more positive children and more positive adult role models. My son took heed. He is in band and he plays basketball. But some of his friends that he was hanging out with have since been charged with armed robbery, theft. They get on these trains and take iPhones and shit out of people's pockets and purses and shit, thinking nobody's looking. But those iPhones especially have LoJack on them. So they're being tracked right down to where they live and where they're taking these devices. And these kids are being charged. Luckily, I got my son headed in the right direction. He was not with these kids when this bullshit went down, so my son still has a clean criminal record. But the same is not true for so many of our children. So we have to have an open line of communication with our children so that they know what's out there in this world, what's waiting for them, and it's not what they think, that their friends are not who they think they are. My life, I ain't no square. And sure ain't been living the square life all that long in comparison to how long I've been on this planet. But the only time that I even had charges brought up against me, it was not even anybody that I considered a friend. It was just some dumb bitch who got caught up doing some fuck shit, and to get herself out of trouble, she started dropping names. Alright? So luckily I got out of that situation. I had to do some time in county while waiting on my bond to be lowered so that I could be able to get bonded out. So like I was saying, I basically did some time in county while waiting on my bond to be lowered to an amount where my family could afford to get me out. I was looking at a second-degree felony, 25 years, all because I knew a bitch. Okay, so our kids are looking at this same shit where they're being implicated in crimes or being murdered for simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time and with the wrong people. So I think the only reason I have escaped this long without any form of charges is because I don't have friends. I don't claim people that ain't my friends as friends. I got Facebook friends. That's about as far as friends go. Find me one person that says that they've been hanging out with me since 2002 when I left high school. You won't find any. Only person you'll find is my husband. So our kids need to get on the level to where they know who their friends are. They know when they're hanging out with the wrong people. They don't put themselves in situations where they're hanging out with the wrong people in the wrong places. And we won't be looking at incidences like this. That whole situation could have been avoided. She should have known that those weren't her friends. Those friends should have known better than to heinously do something like that and then try to get themselves out of it. Just all the way around the board. That was because parents are not communicating with their children, and children are leaving into this world naive, thinking that they have friends when they really don't. So, long story short, instead of this being a whole 30-minute video like it was before, I just want y'all to know, talk to your children. Let them know that everybody who claims to be a friend ain't their friend. Everybody who claims you as their brother or sister ain't your brother or sister. Stop putting yourselves in situations where you're going to be looking at doing time or possibly losing your life. So everybody can come up with their stories on what the hell they think happened and who they think was involved and where they think everything went wrong. But truth of the matter is it starts at home.